Hola, this is Ruchi Acharya, your host for today at Wingless Dreamer Podcast. Today's guest is the poetic equivalent of a lightning bolt hitting a library. Unexpected, electric, and absolutely unforgettable. Broadcasting all the way from the mystical forest of Mount Hood in northwest United States, we have with us a writer who literally lives where muses vacation. Vanessa Watters holds an MFA in poetry, which means her metaphors are legally considered weapons of mass emotional impact. Her work has graced the pages of Beyond Words, The Dewdrop, The Right Launch, and she will be appearing in The Closed Eye Open this January. She's also a beloved repeat contributor to anthologies by Poet's Choice and, of course, Wingless Dreamer. Yes, we claim her proudly. When she is not rearranging the English language into beautiful emotional spells, she is wandering the woods, worshipping the water, loving her people fiercely, and spoiling her fury sidekicks, Macy and Micah, who rumor has it are co-authoring her next poem by simply existing. So buckle up, dear listeners, because today we are diving into the wild, wondrous inner world of poetry, the human mind unlocked. And guiding us through it is the one and only Vanessa Watters. Vanessa, how are you doing today?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just really appreciative. Thank you so much.
That's great. Well, you have submitted us your wonderful poem, Blackberry Jam. And of course, I will be including it towards the end of the podcast for our dear listeners. So may I humbly ask you, the opening of Blackberry Jam feels cinematic. The seeds, the thermos, the sun, the brambles. So do you remember the exact memory that sparked this poem, or did it grow from a blend of recollections?
Well, I would say that there is absolutely some specific imagery I had when I was, maybe I was 8 or 9. But we definitely did this at least once a summer for probably 5 or 6 years as a series in my childhood. And so it is also slightly an accumulation. Blackberry Jam is a tradition that my grandma did in the summertime. Going and picking them was also a part of that tradition.
That's wonderful. And I guess we all can agree that childhood memories are core memories. Like you don't remember all of it, but you remember in glimpse, and they are the core memories at heart.
Yes, they really are. They bring so much warmth to me when I'm able to tap into those memories, and especially if there's backdrops that might have contrasted that, then those are the kinds of things that I want to really remember the most.
Wow, that's wonderful. So Vanessa, as we have read Sylvia Plath's Blackberry, and it has this haunted, almost gothic tone, while Haney's Blackberry picking is full of earthy youth and decay. So what do you think? Where do you think your poem fits on that emotional spectrum?
So they really took it to a whole new level. I have to pay absolute homage to the greats because I feel like mine is something where it definitely, I would call it more pastoral. But I definitely feel that the tactileness of the imagery, that's where it relates the most. Them picking the subject matter of, a fruit that reminds you of pleasure and simple joys, that as a forefront to those backdrops is really poignant. They hit that really well.
And I must say, like in this commercialized world that we are living today, it's so hard to find that peace of mind, to go slow, because poet has this magical power, this tendency to stop and to feel and then to write. So what do you think in this 21st century, how important poetry is?
Man, I think it is so much more important than I think I even knew until I went through my own character arc, if you want to call it, where I really understood how to embrace my craft and my ability now, because of the training I've had and the practice I've really put into it, to make sure I learn how to see the smaller parts of life, as any artist who really cares should have that pursuit. because we do care a lot about the macro of the world, as we should. We need care. Sometimes, though, in order to understand how much that exists, we forget how much the micro also is existing. It's real. It's also a part of the reality.
No, that's so very true. And I totally agree. Like everyone is running this race, this invisible race of chasing fame, name, money. And trust me, I don't mind it. Like I would love to have it all. But again, I think it must serve a purpose. It must have a meaning to it. That brings me to the next question. What is the wildest or most unexpected place a poem has ambushed you? Like grocery aisle epiphany or shower revelations or mid-argument haikus?
Gosh, it's always when that's how the subconscious brain works. It's when you don't have your laptop, you don't have your pencil, and it can definitely, I don't know what the most was. I do know when I wish I had it the most. When I was in this place called Fish Trap, it was a writing workshop in my MFA program over here in the west of the United States. And you needed to think on your feet. You need to go and find the inspiration rather than letting it try and find you, and it's a different approach. You have to go search down the muse. And I know how much I had relied before on allowing her to come to me. And it takes both. You both have to come to each other. And when you really want to, you have to care about the craft that way. But sometimes it'll come to me in a spur of the moment shower situation, or I'm on a hike or something. And you have to be prepared. You have to have your phone at ready, have the little notes.
Yeah. Once that phrase, that rhythmic verses is gone, it's gone. And it's such a bummer. It's so heartbreaking because no matter what, you cannot get it back, and no other replacement will do the justice.
It's so elusive. It's something, I think Plato said something about thoughts being like an aviary of birds. And, you have to sometimes just let them kind of perch in front of you. If you try to catch them, they're just out of your reach. I have to kind of reach this space where I can really almost check out and go into that imagination, but it's somewhere in between reality and imagination. I feel like that's probably the best spot that, where I can really ride that stride and write something in full length. It is hard to come back to it though if I stop midway.
No, I totally agree. And trust me, we are kind of manias who just scribble it down, like let the words flow, let it out before, we forget. Like so many thoughts and emotions all in one go. Okay, let me ask you. So, which poem you wrote reveals the most embarrassing, chaotic, or I cannot believe it, I just admitted that side of you?
Okay, so I'm kind of giving this away a little bit because the one that's going to be coming up in the Closed Eye Open is called The Feast, and it's about another fruit. But you wouldn't know as you're going through. It almost kind of comes off as a little gory, like a little Viking or something is going through. And that's the idea. But it's actually about a watermelon feast.
Did it mistakenly revealed it on Wingless Dreamer Podcast?
No, spoiler alert. I remember this so vividly. We had all of the neighborhood kids over, and I won the feast because I was determined to eat as many watermelons as I could. And I was just covered in watermelon juice, sticky, and I'm pretty sure there's a picture out there of me that I will never show.
To get hands on that picture and put it as a thumbnail for this very podcast.
Never. Yeah, so that was such a fun time, but oh my gosh, I'm sure I looked pretty ridiculous.
Well, that's really cute. And definitely, we cannot wait, dear listeners, to mark your calendar this January, The Closed Eye Open by Vanessa Watters. It's going to be amazing and pure dead excited.
Thank you.
Moving forward, let me ask you, do you think poetry is closer to therapy, witchcraft, or scientific observation? And the reason why?
Ooh, okay. Therapy, witchcraft, or scientific observation? Well, I think it depends on the poem. I know I'm so diplomatic today. It's horrible. but it depends on the poem. Okay, I would say that when it comes to therapy, one thing I realized for myself, if it's going to be therapeutic, it needs to be more, for me at least, collective and universal, where it's not just about me anymore. It's including other people's healing. Now, if it can also be about some witchcraft, and that's when it goes into fantasy land or goes into this high imaginary state where I can use nature as a huge muse of mine. And I can do the same thing with science. I love science. And because, of course, I went into the humanities realm, I always loved science, though. And the great thing about literature and all art is that you get to play with all subjects if you want to. And you don't have to be an expert. I really enjoy, because we live in a time where technology is incredibly, high intensity. It's hard not to incorporate what's going on around us into our art.
Yeah, that's very well said, and it's so true to the fact. Like, I come from an engineering background, the STEM itself, and trust me, for a very long time, I cursed my parents, like, why did you let me pick up engineering? But then with time, I realized, like you said, that we are surrounded by science in general. And, studying STEM discipline somehow build this critical layers into my mind, like critical thinking.
Yeah.
So it's really good, like, because now I'm using it to emote myself, to further go in deeper meanings in my poetry. So it's best of the both worlds.
I love that. Yeah.
So that's definitely there. Okay. So that brings me to one of the last questions before we jump into the rapid fire round. So let me ask you, like, if every human had to carry a mental survival poem, the way people carry their IDs, so which poem would you nominate and why?
Mental survivor poem. I'm very bad at picking favorites because one thing, this is almost a cop-out, but
Okay.
I will definitely say the Odyssey.
Oh,
the
wow.
Epic of the Odyssey. Yes, I know. But it used to be memorized by bards. Okay. Definitely not by me. One of the reasons is because Odysseus is incredibly clever, and the trials and tribulations that he goes through. And he's lost over and over so many times. And original traumas, such as what he went through in the Iliad, almost create these re-traumatizations, sometimes because he thinks he needs to do something some way, and then it leads him into another path. And now he has to rethink his way out of it. While Penelope has to have her own sense of being clever, where she has to hold down this home and fight off these suitors and be loyal and faithful all at the same time of being an incredibly smart and ingenious woman. And there's a kind of beauty and harmony between that dynamic that I've always admired. And the voyage just to get home again.
And I couldn't agree more with the Odyssey, especially like a hero struggling for 10 years, like you said, to return home, battling monsters, gods, and his own flaws, to reclaim his life and identity. It's an epic.
It is.
Wonderful, like legendary work. One thing I personally believe, like back in those days, these amazing writers and pure dead brilliant poets, they used to take time to write poems. In 1 year, they produce one poem, and that's how the legends are made. I know we were supposed to go to the rapid fire question, but let me ask you, do you think in this 21st century, people are chasing more numbers, like the amount of journals and publications that got published in, rather than producing a qualitative and premium quality of literature?
Yes, I absolutely think that. I don't know about in the form of poetry or not. I think fiction writers usually, where they do word count, it's admirable and it's lofty in some ways, but at least when it comes like to fiction, I agree a lot in the Hemingway stance, where even though I love a Faulkner, don't get me wrong, it has its own greatness for being a maximalist. But really having the economy of words is so crucial, and I hope that we're not coming away from that too much. I do see some longer poems, and I know that for me, I have a philosophy for brevity, And I think it's actually really crucial in today's world, because although it would be better if everybody could be more focused and have a longer attention span, the reality is that we're struggling a little bit with that. I'm one of them. We all do nowadays, just because of the way that everything is presented and in these little bites. But the message still needs to get across. The meaning still needs to get across. If it's profound, it needs to be said.
So true and very well said. I guess like our dear listeners definitely can take few motivational words from there. And going forward, that brings to our rapid fire round. Okay, are you ready? Beat the drums.
Okay.
Ink pen or keyboard?
Keyboard.
Coffee, tea, or straight chaos?
Straight chaos.
Metaphor or simile?
Metaphor.
Metaphor or personification?
Metaphor.
Rhyme or no rhyme?
Rhyme. Alternate rhyme.
Forest retreat or beach cabin for writing?
Forest.
Lovely. A writer you would text at 3 a.m. if they were alive?
Sylvia Plath.
First word that comes to mind when you hear the phrase human mind?
Fascinating.
Poetry prompt. Describe your current mood in one word.
Pleasant.
One poetic cliche you would ban forever.
What a cliche. Waking up from a dream.
If your poem could talk, would they hype you up, roast you, or ask for therapy?
Roast me.
Well, that's wonderful, Vanessa. You are an amazing sport, I must say. And on that note, your rapid fire round is over. All right. Before I proceed towards the conclusion, one message that you would like to say to our dear listeners or to the amateur or professional writers out there who are, struggling or surviving or thriving in today's world to write a poem.
Absolutely. Just block everybody out. Block everything out. Don't worry about offending someone. Don't worry about being anything but your authentic self first. Go through it and just write from top to bottom. And one thing one of my teachers told me is you can't edit writing when you haven't written something. So just write. You can go back, you can edit, you can cut and slash it away, and you can add again. That's the fun part. It's a sculpture now that you get to carve and have fun.
Wow, that's wonderfully said. And that, dear dreamers, bring us to the end of today's journey into the mind's wild, wonderful observatory. Vanessa, thank you for opening the trapdoors, skylights, and back doors of the human psyche with us today. Thank you for discussing your projects, your work with us. Vanessa, I must say, you reminded us that poetry isn't just ink on a page. It's a living pulse, a mirror, rebellion, a warm hug, and sometimes a sparkly chaos we choose to love anyway. So to everyone listening, whether you're writing on a mountain like Vanessa, scribbling between Zoom calls, hiding your notebook under your pillow, or typing because your brain refuses to sleep, remember this: your mind is not a maze, it's a universe. Your emotions are not obstacles, they are ingredients. And poetry is the key that helps you unlock the doors you didn't even know how were locked. So tonight, let's take a moment, listen to your mind, not to tame it, but to let it speak. So see you next Sunday.